Angles in a triangle is what we're looking at in this video. It's split into 6 parts. So we're first going to start off by looking at examples like this with a basic triangle, then looking at a right angle, then an equilateral, and then an isosceles, and then angles on a straight line with a triangle, and then parallel lines with triangles. So the way my videos work, I'm going to do the example on the left, which is I do. You are then going to press pause and have got the example on the right, which is you do. So angles in a triangle add up to 180. Okay, so we know that this plus this must add up to 180. So to get our answer here, we can do 80 plus 40, which is 120, and then we subtract that from 180 to get our answer. So we know that 180 take away 120, which is 60, is what x is. Okay, so that is that missing angle there, because all three of these added together then give us 180. Okay, same thing on the right. So all three of these added together give us 180. So do 120 plus 40, which gives us 160. That means that x must be 180 take away 60, which is 20. And now we're looking at an example with the right angle. So with this one, we have 60, and this here is a right angle, and a right angle is 90. So we can just write that in, and then it's the exact same approach. So it'll be 90 plus 60, which is 150. And then to get x, it's just 180 take away 150, which is 30 degrees. And again, we can label that in here. Hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go. So that's 90. So it'll be 90 plus 65, which will be 155 degrees. And then to get x, it'll just be 180 take away 155, and that will give you 25 degrees. And now with this example, so this is an equilateral triangle, and the way we know that is because of these lines here. These lines here are saying these three sides are equal. So we know that angles in a triangle add up to 180. Now, if all three sides are equal, all three of these angles must be equal. So all we're going to do is we're going to divide it by 3, and that gives us 60 degrees, which is saying that all of this is 60, this is 60, and this is 60. So the answer here for x is 60. And again, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a good the example on the right. Same thing here. All three sides are the same, so it's an equilateral triangle. Each angle must be equal. So since there's 3 angles in a triangle, each angle must be 180. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. Now moving on, here we have an isosceles triangle. So this side and this side are the same, which means these two base angles are exactly the same. Okay, so if that's 70, then this is also 70. Now we can use that to find x. So that will be 70 plus 70, which is 140. And now to find x, we just take away from 180 because angles in the triangle add up to 180, and that is our answer there, 40 degrees. And in fact, let me just write that a bit smaller. And now looking at this example here, so we know that it's an isosceles triangle, so these two angles must be the same. So what we can do is 180 take away 20, which gives us 160. So we know that this and this, they both add together to give 160. But because they're both the same, we can just divide this by 2, and we get 80. So x is 80. So this angle here is going to be 80, and this angle here is also going to be 80. Because remember, the base angles on an isosceles triangle are the same. Now moving on, so we have this example here with an isosceles triangle. So what we want to do is find this angle here. Now angles around a point add up to 360, so this is going to be 360, take away 330, which is equal to 30 degrees. Okay, now we know that's 30 degrees, so you can just do 180, take away 30 degrees, that gives us 150. So we know that this and this must add up to 150. Since they're both the same, we can just half this. So we can just do 150, divide that by 2, and we get 75 degrees for x. So that will be 75 there and 75 on this side. So again, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at this. So we're going to start off with finding this angle here, which is 50 degrees, because angles around a point add up to 180. Then we're going to do 180 take away 50, which is 130. So we know that this and this add up to 130. So we're just going to half the 130, and 130 divide that by 2 gives 65. So we know this is 65 and this is 65. And you can always check your answer, because if you add these three together, you end up with 180. So moving on, here's some practice questions. Press pause now and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. And moving on, we have straight lines as well now. So here we've been asked to find x. We know what this is, but we don't know what this is. So we need to find this to get the answer. But we know that angles on a straight line add up to 180. So we know that this angle here is just going to be 180 take away 120, which is 60 degrees. So now we have that angle, we can find the answer. So 70 plus 60 is 130, and x is just going to be 180 take away 130, which is 50 degrees. And again, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at this. Now, in order to find x, we know what this is. We just need to know what this angle here is. And this angle here is angles on a straight line with this. So it must be 40 degrees because angles on a straight line add up to 180. And now we can find x because we can do 65 plus 40, which is 105 degrees. And then x is just going to be 80, take away 105, which is 75 degrees. Now, moving on. Here we need to find x. So to find x, we need to know what this and this is. Now, because it's an isosceles triangle, we know that both of these will be the same. So this angle here is going to be 70 because angles on a straight line add up to 180. If you know that's 70, this is also going to be 70 because it's an isosceles triangle. So then we have 70 plus 70, which is 140, and then 180, take away 140, which gives you 40 degrees. And moving over to the right, hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go. So this angle here, it's angles on a straight line. That's going to be 80. This angle here is angles on a straight line. So that's going to be 60. So that's 80 plus 60, which gives us 140. And angles in a triangle add up to 180. So that is going to become 40 degrees for x. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. Now, before we move on to this bit, I do highly recommend that you watch my video on parallel lines before doing this. So here we've been asked to find angle x and give reasons for your answer. So with this one, the first thing you want to know is to find x, it's a triangle here. Now, you know what this is. You want to know what this bit here is. Now, this bit here, we can find by using the alternate angle theorem. So that is going to be that there. So this here, and we need to give reasons for answer. So we're going to say this is 50 degrees. And the reason is because it's an alternate z angle. So now we know what that is, we can get the answer. Because we can just do 50 plus 60, which gives us 110. Angles in a triangle add up to 180. And we know that x is equal to 70 degrees. And now with this one, we've been told to find x. We know what this angle is inside the triangle. We need to know what this one is. Now, this is just angles on a straight line. So we can say this is 80 degrees. And it says give reasons for your answer. So we are going to say angle on a straight line. And now we can find x. So that'll be 80 plus 30, which is 110. And that'll be 180, take away 110, which is 70 degrees. Moving on. So here we've been asked to find, it does say find angle x, but what it should really say is find the missing angle. So we need to find x, y, and z. Okay, so x is going to be 80 degrees because it's vertically opposite. So you can write that in, that's 80. And y is going to be 60. So just to clarify that, x is vertically opposite here, so that's 80. Now, y is an alternate angle to this 60 degree angle. So we know y is going to be 60 because of alternate angles. So we know what y is now, 60. And finally, to find z, this is just a triangle. Angles in a triangle add up to 180, so we know that 80 plus 60 gives you 140. 180 take away 140 gives you 40 degrees. So that is z, and we can just say angles in a triangle add up to 180. So angles in triangle, because you've been asked to give reasons for your answer. So here I have given a reason for x, y, and z. So looking over on this side, you've been asked to find x. So we can see this is a triangle. We have this. We need to know what this is, and we can get our answer. Now, to get this value here, how do we get there? So I can see we've been given a 120. I can find this angle here and use that to find this angle here. So if I just label that in, this angle here is going to be 120 because of corresponding, because it's a corresponding F angle. So that's corresponding angle. And if I just draw that in so we can see, that is a corresponding angle. Okay, so these two are the same. Now I can use that to find this angle here because that is just going to be 60 degrees. And the reason for that is angles on a straight line. And finally, I can find x now because I have the angles inside the triangle. So that's 60 plus 70, which is 130. And then angles in a triangle add up to 180, so that will be 130, take away that, which is 50 degrees. And then for the reason, I can just copy this bit in quickly. So if I just copy that, paste that in, so we are saying that angles in a triangle add up to 180. So moving on now. So again, we are looking for both angle X and Y, not just X. So with this one here, how do I find Y and X? If we just zoom in a bit, so we can see this bit here is going to be 70 because it's vertically opposite. So we have that now. And I can see that this here is also going to be 70, and that's due to corresponding angles, which then means that X is just going to be 180, take away 70, which is 110 degrees, because angles on a straight line, in fact, angles on straight line add up to 180. So we have that as well now. And now we just need to find what Y is. Well, we can see with Y, we can just use this big triangle. There'll be multiple ways you can do this. But if I look at this triangle here, I know this is 80, I know this is 70, so I can find this missing bit here. So I can do 70 plus 80, which is 150. And then I can just do 180 take away 150. That gives you 30 degrees. And that is the value for Y, because angles in a triangle, and I can just paste that in, because angles in a triangle add up to 180. So that is my reasoning for all of that. You could have used a slightly different method to get to the same answer, but yeah, you'd get the exact same answer either way. So hopefully you've pressed pause and had a go at this. Again, I'll zoom in a little bit. Now there's multiple ways you can do this, but I would say that that is 70 degrees, and my reason is just going to be corresponding. Not corresponding, it's a co-interior angle, so it's the C shape. Again, you could have done this in a slightly different way. And what I mean by co-interior angle is sort of that C shape there. So these two add up to 180. So I've got X now. Because I have X, I can also figure this out. So this is going to be 70 degrees too. Now you could say corresponding angles, or you could use angles on a straight line. I'm just going to write corresponding angle. And what I mean by corresponding is the F shape here. So this and this are going to be the same. Again, you could have given a slightly different reason. And now finally, to find Y, we just do 70 plus 30, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then 180, take away that, which gives you 80 degrees. So that is the value for Y. And the reason here is because angles in a triangle add up to 180. And now, moving on. So we've been asked to find angle X. So the way I would do this is, so we know that's 90, so we have this already. So all we need to find X is that angle there inside the triangle. Now to find that angle there, this here is a Z angle. So we know if this is 80, this whole thing is also going to be 80. So we know that from here to here, it adds up to 80. But this bit here is 50. So I know that this bit here must be 30. And the reasoning here you would give is just alternate angles. And now we can solve that, because we can do 90 plus 30, which is 120. And just do 180, take away 120, which then gives you 60 degrees here. And that is the value for X. And again, on the right, so exact same approach. This is an alternate angle. So you know that this whole bit here adds up to 85. We already have the 60, so we do 60 take away 85, and that gives me 25 degrees here. And the reason is alternate angles. And I know that this is 90. So that would just be 90 plus 25. And 90 plus 25 becomes 115. And just do 180, take away 115, and that gives you the missing angle X as 65 degrees. So here's some practice questions. Press pause and have a go. Here are the answers. Mark your work. Now, if you would like some more practice on this, I've got a full worksheet linked down in the comments below. And if you found this video useful, I've got loads of other content like this on my channel. Do check it out.